Hi, everybody. My name is Nick Bradshaw. Welcome to AI TV. We're broadcasting live from AI Expo Africa 2021 online, Africa's largest AI, RPA, and smart technology event. We're running the show online this year because of COVID, and next year we hope to be back to face-to-face. But in the meantime, the online format allows us to talk to many people, both locally, regionally, and globally. And it gives me great pleasure to welcome Rudolf Janus van Ransburg from Treasury One Automation to AI TV. How are you doing, Rudolf?
Yeah, excellent. Thanks, Nick. It's great to be here. Like you say, hopefully next year we can we can have a face-to-face again. We can only hope. But yeah, no, it's been good. Thanks.
Yeah, I think everyone's. Whilst I think the online format is accessible and convenient, I think people are looking forward to shaking hands, swapping business cards, and getting back to the real world next year. So actually, we're bringing the show to Joburg, so closer to home for you guys. So yeah, we look forward to that. So
yeah,
Rudolf,
I've about 3 boxes of business cards that I need to hand out. So
yeah, look, I've got a few of those. I mean, people use them as toothpicks and throw them around the room. But yeah, I think we're looking forward to handing out those business cards. So, Rudolf, thanks for joining us. I mean, one of the things that I felt very interesting about the Treasury One Automation story was that you guys actually started focusing on RPA and automation based on your own journey with that technology several years ago. Do you want to sort of explain to the viewers that journey that you've been on?
Yeah, no, thanks, Nick. I mean, essentially, we're a very sort of entrepreneurial organization. So, I mean, in 2017, when I came with a crazy idea to our CEO to say, well, look, we need to invest in automation and RPA specifically. He jumped on board very quickly, which was good. And then obviously, you know, we did everything ourselves. So we've got a lot of experience in terms of implementing, technology solutions, specifically treasury management systems for, financial services companies, corporates, etc. So we leveraged some of those team members to essentially deploy RPA within the wider Treasury One. And these are, mostly high volume financial services transactions, payments, foreign exchange transactions, cash, commodity trades, etc. And then, it was so much fun, except for maybe like the first 6 months or so. So, I mean, we essentially downloaded the software, paid for it, and then, started implementing it. And it was such a great success that, sort of in 2019, we said to ourselves, look, the software works. It was sort of very new, especially in South Africa at that stage. Everyone was like, oh, does this work? Does it not? And we proved within our own organization that it works. And then in 2019, we said to ourselves, well, look, there must, if it works so well with us, why not take it to market? And then like I always joke to say, well, the timing was it was the best timing and the worst timing. So, in 2019, we sort of launched into the market, and then, everyone knows what happened after that. But actually, it's driven everyone towards more digital, transformation type of projects. Suddenly, you can't take a piece of paper to someone to sign anymore, and your workforce is sort of, sitting at home, that type of situation. So it's actually been, really, really good. And we've got a lot of traction. I think we're working on our 20th deployment at the moment. So yeah, it's been sort of very, very sort of high growth market for us. And happy to be at the AI conference.
Yeah, thank you, Rudolf. I mean, it's great to have you guys joining us as a sponsor and exhibitor. And I think obviously it's amazing to hear a story about a company that started using automation technology for your own needs to then suddenly realize, hang on a minute, now we've done this, we can do this for our clients. And obviously in your particular market vertical, which, Treasury Solutions is, it's fairly niche, but, it is a sector in its own right, that you've now taken that to market and you're offering that as a service to your own clients. Are you guys platform agnostic, or are you using a specific RPA technology in the main?
Yeah, no, so we're definitely not platform agnostic. Through our sort of years of experience, we found that it's better to focus. So we pick a horse, that we think is going to win the race, and then we stick with that horse. So luckily for us, we partnered with Automation Anywhere, and they've done some great things, over the last 2 or 3 years. So we're really happy with that. We always say we want to be focused and specialists in Automation Anywhere and RPA specifically, deploying those types of solutions, but definitely not platform agnostic. We'd rather be very good or excellent at one thing than try and spread the resources that much. Interesting to your point, initially we thought it was just something that we're going to offer to existing clients, sort of expand, extend on our revenue, try and grow our revenue from our internal customer base. But 2.5 years later, it's actually only 30 or 40% of our clients used to be existing Treasury One clients, and 60% of them are customers which we've never done any other business before. So
it's interesting.
We've been lucky.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's interesting you mentioned Automation Anywhere. They're also supporting part of our corporate social responsibility theme of women in RPA. And if anyone's joining the conference at the moment, they can go to the resource center and take part in the Automation Anywhere Build a Bot campaign, and there's resources in there. So it's great to see that you guys are focusing on them. And I agree with your approach, actually. Be a master of one thing rather than a jack of all trades. To focus on one platform is probably a good strategy. So I guess on your own journey, and then obviously working with clients, you've now experienced both sides of that coin. What would you say are perhaps the top 3 things that you've learned both from yourselves and also your client interactions about how to successfully win with deploying RPA in the business environment?
Yeah, I guess the first thing is that there's no one size fits all, right? There's every company or business that you deal with has its own ways of working, its own internal structures, its own personalities, its own technology architecture, its own ideas on how to roll out certain things, its own methods of project managing certain situations, etc. So what we found is you have to be as flexible as possible, because if you come in with this into a customer site to say, okay, well, this is the recipe, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, I don't think you will succeed, especially in something like RPA, which is so new. You have to almost let the water flow where there's least resistance, if I can put it that way. That's probably the most important, of the 3 things. And I mean, from our side, we realized that, if you get smart people that like solving problems, they will surprise you. The team that's running our developer team, I mean, they've done some things that I've never even thought of when we started with RPA. The types of validations and sorts of things that comes to light. And I guess, the other thing, or the last thing, would be just how you think about RPA, something that's taking a manual process and then automating it. But there's so many other things that actually come out of a process like that, or an engagement like that, where clients learn things about their own processes that they never knew existed. So it's almost like it sort of drives the organization towards more of like a standardization, general process improvement. So even though you're tweaking or automating a specific process, it sort of interacts with all other business areas. And because the bots work on logic, you cannot put an illogical process onto and try and fit it with RPA. So you tend to clean up actually quite a lot of things in the client's environments. And actually what we've seen is, sort of solving or automating a process in one area can actually, have a lot of, downstream effects where you're actually helping other processes, and then, you can sort of go and automate those as well. So, fascinating how, automating something makes people rethink about how they're actually doing things.
That's interesting.
And also, if I have to use a 4th one, sorry, I'm going to go for 4.
No, go for it. Give us a 4th one.
Just the buy-in, from process owners, from from people that have to do. People are like, please just automate this. This is not fun. Please like take this away from me so I can focus on more value-adding tasks. So, I think in all the processes that we've automated, out of the, I don't know, I mean, we're probably about 500 now. I can't even name on one hand where we've had like serious resistance towards automation. So that's also been quite fascinating.
And I think maybe if we look just to wrap up, Rudolf, what would you say are the 3 biggest mistakes that businesses are making in their approach to RPA?
I guess, so one of the biggest things for me is people think their organizations aren't ready for RPA. They want to go and they want to have their processes all perfect, and then they want to put a bot on top of it. But as to my previous point, actually by automating something, you almost fix those things as you go along, type of situation. So that's one mistake. It's like that hesitancy to say, oh well, I'm almost not, I need everything documented to the T and every process map and every step documented before I can do RPA. That's probably the biggest, the biggest drawback. And then I guess from there it goes towards, things like platform, which one's most scalable, everything's sort of moving towards cloud. So again, we're happy that, we're partnering with Automation Anywhere, which is now, cloud native. So, no upgrades for 3 months or 2 months type of situation. Everything's over the air. And then I guess the other big mistake probably is not making sure that IT and business working together. So it's not something that you can enforce, business. And again, if I look at our customer base, the senior engagement sort of 90% is with CFOs and 10% with CIOs or CTOs. But those two need to work together. It's not something that you can enforce on IT. You need to bring them on board from day one. And if you put those two together, then it's a lot easier.
Yeah, I mean, that's that last point I think you could apply probably to any technology change program, not just RPA. I mean, I myself have seen many successes and many failures because of that last point in the technology space. The one final thing, and I think it was Automation Anywhere, we're producing or doing some work on a RPA maturity framework. Have you got any comments on that?
Yeah, it's in my unread box.
All right, okay.
I still need to get to it. Yeah, so it's a sort of a maturity analysis. But what we've seen, I mean, and again, this is different customer journeys. So, you need to not start small, but you need to start somewhere. And if you want to, you need some experience, because you need, as your own organization, you need to know how good or how quick you are with deploying something like this. And what we've seen from some of our clients, if they're like 9 months or 12 months down the line, then, I mean, we're running a project now where we're essentially going to try and do our version of hyper automation, where we're going to go for 3 months and try and cover 24 processes for one of our customers. And that, again, you need that sort of, you need to be mature and understanding of what the technology's capability is before you can jump into something like that. That's not something that I would start from day one, because you need to internally figure out how the best way is to deploy it within your company before you go that route. But most clients, they get the technology once you show them something and the light bulb goes on, and then it sort of flows from there.
Well, Rudolf, it's an absolute pleasure to talk to you and have you and colleagues from Treasury One Automation joining us at the show this year. I think we're in this evolving and emerging world now where RPA has become much more readily accepted. It's kind of now de facto need. Things like maturity frameworks for RPA will now emerge, and I think the companies that embrace that will also be the ones that generally succeed as well. So I just want to wrap up by saying thanks for joining us on AITV. This has been what will hopefully be our final online event, and we can return to face-to-face next year. And I look forward to having a beer with you and the team in Joburg next year. So Rudolf, and to your wider team, thanks for joining us and making a contribution to AI Expo Africa 2021 online.
Thank you. Excellent. It's been a pleasure. Thanks, Nick. Thanks for putting up a great event. See you next year.
Thanks a lot.